right, this will be a video for 8th grade, page 144. This is page 144. In this section, we are just looking at more real-world examples of linear equations, and we're writing equations. Our equations in this section are going to be in the form y equals mx plus b, where b is our y-intercept. It's where we start. Where m is our slope, which is rise over run. Okay, looks like we're given graphs on these, so we can figure out how far up and how far to the right these are going. Looking at all these graphs, they're all positive, so they're all going up and then over, up and then over. Okay, so rise over run, in other words, is the y change, the up and down change over the left and right change. So it's the y change over the x change. So let's look at this first one. Number one, we have the amount of gas, and we have a car going some distance. It's kind of interesting. This is exactly the same as one of our mountain math problems we have this week. So thinking about this, if we have a car that goes on 0 gallons of gas, well, it's going to go 0 miles. So I'm recognizing right off the bat that this is going to go through the origin. And if we connected these dots, if we connected these dots to make a nice straight line, we'll probably see that this goes through the origin, which means a couple things. It means it's proportional, but it also means our b, our y-intercept in this equation, it's 0. So our equation is just y equals mx. Okay, so y equals something x. Now, what do we multiply by? Let's check it out. For 1, it looks like I'm at, I'm at 30 because it's counting by 20s, 20, 40, 60. So it's in the middle of 20 and 40, so that's at 30. At 2, we're at 60. At 3, we're at 90. At 4, we're at 120. Okay, so it's 1. So our x is 1, y is 30, x is 2, y is 60, x is 3, y is 90. So what are we multiplying by every time? We're multiplying by 30 every time. And this is it. This is the final equation for this one because it is proportional. It goes through the origin. You could put plus 0 here because we go through at 0, but it's not necessary. Any proportional relationship just looks like this. Does not have anything added to the end. The next one, again, the first thing I want to do is I just want to connect these with the ruler. So I would expect you guys to do the same thing. Go ahead and draw a nice line through your points so we can find our y-intercept. Okay, so let's find what is b on this one. B is where we cross the line, cross the y-axis. Looks like we cross at 2. Okay, crosses at 2, so b is 2. Now we need to find the m. It is a fraction. How far up do we go and how far over do we go? So let's start here to, actually, let's use this one because it's not in the middle. Okay, that one's in the middle and I don't know if it's exact. Looks like from 2 to 12. Okay, so we're going from 2, we're going up 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So we're going up by 10 and to the right by looks like we're counting by 1s on the bottom for hours. 1, 2, 3, 4. 10 over 4, which can then be simplified. We could divide by 2. I get 5 over 2. We could divide this out and make it $2 or 2.5. But I'm just going to leave it at this. Okay. So my equation is y equals, in the form mx plus b, m comes first, which we found out was 5 over 2. And then x, and then plus b. Okay, so this question, it looks like we're talking about the cost of things over time. So things are increasing in cost over time. So after 2 hours, something costs $7. After 4 hours, something costs $12. And I'm not exactly sure what we're talking about here, but the cost of something is increasing as time goes by. Number 3, the graph shows the relationship between the number of hours a kayak is rented and the total cost of the rental. Write an equation of the relationship. Then use that equation to predict the cost of a rental that lasts 5.5 hours. So let's see, there's 20, 40, 60. I'm just going to fill those in because I know that my y-intercept here is at 30. So let's see, we need to figure out b. That's where we start. Looks like we start in the middle of 20 and 40, which will be at 30. Now I need my m, which is my rise over run. All these points are in the middle, so let's just choose the beginning one then. We're starting at 30, and we're going up to 50. So from 30 to 50, well, that's up 20, okay? We're going up by $20, and then we're going over by 1 hour, okay? See that? 20 over 1. So it looks like our equation is going to be y equals, not m. Our slope was 20. 20 over 1, we can just write that as 20. This goes up $20 per hour per x, but you start with a $30 fee no matter what. Now, then use that equation to predict the cost of a rental that lasts 5.5 hours. So we're going to have to plug in 5.5 into that x, because x is hours. So let's see, what's 5.5 times 20? I know that 5.5 times 2, well, 5 times 2 is 10, and a half times 2 is 1. So that's 11 with an extra 0 that I crossed off a second ago. So the 20 times 5.5 is 110, plus 30 is $140. Number 4, does each of the following graphs represent a linear relationship? Why or why not? So all we have to do is decide, is it a line? Well, let's check. Maybe grab note card, ruler, anything straight that you have, maybe a folder, and we need to decide, do all these points go through the same line? Should be able to see on this one. The answer will be, I gotta close my ruler. Yes. The points all connect in a line. And that's what linear means. All of the points are on that line. So let's check the next one. We'll get our line. We'll put our dot maybe at the last one there. Put our dot here, maybe that one. So I've connected 2 of my points, but 3 of the other points are not on the line. So is this linear? This one's no. Not all of the points fit on a line. We can maybe even say it is a curve, right? Starts at 0 and goes up like this. It's like a curve, okay? So that one's not linear. So that's really all I have, I think, for this lesson. We've just got to write some equations. It's going to be the same stuff. It's going to be graphs just like this. So on your homework, I'll probably give you 5 of them. A couple of them might be like number 4 and 5 here. Is it linear? But you're just going to look at the graphs and you're going to write an equation for this. So some of them are proportional. That means they go through the origin. Your equation will just look like this. Nothing added or subtracted. If it's non-proportional, you need to figure out the y-intercept and the slope. And you just put them in slope-intercept form.